Allyson Rieg was an alcoholic, more like a binge drinker. She would go through long periods of sobriety, relapse and drink for a week, then return to recovery. In March of 2018, she left Victorville, where she was living with her father, and moved into a sober living in San Diego. She stayed there until May, then rented a room in La Mesa. Things seemed to be going well, but she started drinking in the middle of May. She reached out to Robert Henry, a former resident of the sober living. Robert seemed to be a responsible young man. He told Allyson and her family that he worked for the FBI, had been a part of the Drug Task Force unit for the San Diego Sheriff's Department, and was now a managing partner in a law firm. By June 1st, they decided to move into a downtown condo that was rented by his father. They married shortly after. It was though that she wasn't drinking, because she was talking to friends and family, which didn't happen when she was drunk. However, on June 15th, those closest to her began to suspect that she had begun to drink again. Her family left on a trip on June 16th and returned on June 23rd. When they returned from the trip, they were unable to get a hold of Allyson. When they hadn't heard from her by the evening of Friday, June 29th, they asked Allyson's brother to call Robert. The family was worried because they could track Allyson's location on Find My Friends, and she had not left the condo in over a week. Her brother was able to talk to Robert, who said that Allyson had been drinking but had stopped, that there was no alcohol in the house, and by 10 a.m. the next day she would be sober for 14 hours. Allyson's brother told Robert she would need to go to the hospital and to call him if she gave him any problems. On June 30th, 2018 at 1:07 p.m., Find My Friends alerted the family that Allyson had left the condo. It looked like she went to a Mexican restaurant, then a store, and then back to the condo. At about 2:30 p.m., the family missed a call from Allyson's friend. They called her back at around 3:15 p.m., where she told the family that Robert had called her and told her that Allyson was deceased. Allyson's brother then called 911 for a welfare check. By 4:30 p.m., it was confirmed that she had died. According to the medical examiner's report, her BAC was very high, and she also had Xanax in her system. Evidently, there was an empty prescription bottle for Robert at the scene. Robert told police investigators he strangled Allyson on June 29th between 9 and 10 p.m. This is within range of the time of estimated death. The medical examiner's report indicates that there was no sign of strangulation. Although the pathologist states there does not have to be signs of strangulation, this would be very rare. The medical examiner's report states Allyson had 0.09 milligrams of aprazolam and an extremely high level of alcohol in her system, 42%. The aprazolam level in itself, without other factors, would not kill anyone. The alcohol level likely would kill most people. Basically, your body stops breathing and then your heart stops. Because Allyson's body has become accustomed to heavy alcohol levels, she could survive a 42% alcohol level in her blood. Robert tells a bartender he killed his wife, and he also tells law enforcement he strangled Allyson. There were no signs of strangulation to Allyson's neck. Breathing stops and then the heart stops when one dies of alcohol intoxication. So there's a period when the breathing slows and becomes shallow. Some may pull through, others may not. But this would be a period when someone could potentially smother a person to death, which does not leave injuries other than, say, petechia, that is usually in the eyes and sometimes on one's face. The pathologist did not note petechia present, and he would have looked for it as routine. Petechia is caused by your body working hard to take a breath, but can't. In Allyson's state of extreme intoxication, combined with a normal dose of aprazolam, her body could have been so sedated that her body would not have fought to take a breath. Simply a hand over her mouth and nose could have killed her. She would have not have struggled. In 2019, Robert went on to Dr. Phil and reiterated many times that he was the one that killed Allyson, and that "I think wealthy people can get away with anything," he said. Dr. Phil claimed that Robert was lying and was simply seeking attention. The report's a very strange account, and the manner of death was just recently changed from accidental to undetermined. So, was Allyson's death a suicide, murder, or simply an accident?